Welcome to Two Therapists Talking. The hope for this podcast is to talk about important issues related to couples and individuals who are struggling in their lives with many different issues. I'm David Thompson, a marriage and family therapist.
And I'm Sherie Christensen, marriage and family therapist. Please join us as we explore these issues together, and we hope you will learn and be enlightened along the way. Come find us at twotherapisttalking.com. If you like what you're hearing, please get on and rate us and subscribe to the podcast. Hello and welcome back to Two Therapists Talking. I'm Sherie.
And I'm David.
And we are on our final part of the partner stabilization after betrayal trauma series that we've been doing.
Yep.
Talking about the road to recovery for the betrayed spouse in a CSAT informed process. So we've talked about the first 4 steps that we've already talked about are safety and stabilization, boundaries and containment, support team, information process, and now we're going to talk about the last 2 steps and also discuss some reasonable early recovery expectations for the addicted spouse.
Yeah, because you need to know that there are some really good expectations you can have.
Yes.
That are totally reasonable. Probably not what your gut might say, which is, oh, I just learned this, so now immediately we must this and this and this. Sometimes that's good. Sometimes it kind of sets you back.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's unrealistic because it's not possible. So we'll talk about some of that, which is going to be helpful.
Yeah. Let's talk about step number 5 first. And that step is nervous system tools. So when you go through betrayal trauma, it can be a type of PTSD or have very similar experiences. It's similar in a lot of ways if it doesn't meet a full criteria there. And so we want to be able to give you tools that can help you calm down your nervous system.
Right.
So we're looking at things that are going to be grounding or that will give you structure. And both of those are important.
Which we have talked about before as well. And there's a lot of information on this. But anything that helps you to slow down is going to be really helpful. Mm-hmm. So nervous system activation, your sympathetic nervous system says fight, flight, or freeze. Mm-hmm. What we're trying to do is gently bring you back into your parasympathetic, which is rest and just calming down, slowing down. And there's some things that we know tend to work a little bit better. So some of those things are breathing. This is number 1. Everybody's toolkit should have breathing first. Yes. Slow breathing, very intentionally.
Mindful.
Very mindful.
Watch the breath. Yeah.
Watch the breath, yep. Orienting, we call it, or grounding, and this is where you can use your senses. And
yeah. So some of those things are like the 3x3, which is 3 things that you can see, 3 things that you can feel tactilely, 3 things that you can hear. So you just kind of name them. You can do it out loud, and you can do it as many times as you want.
Yep.
So just bringing yourself back into your body. So that's one way of doing that. You can do that by doing a walking meditation. You can do that by focusing on sounds like rushing water or a bell or something like that. So even just walking without doing a meditation, just going on a walk, right? So something that's going to pull you back into your body in a gentle way. So not like I'm going to go run a marathon or something like that, but being in nature, sitting out in nature, prayer, meditation, cold water.
Yeah, cold water is a good one. Splashing cold water on your face, or even just putting your head under cold water, like a running tub or something like that. Or if it's hardcore, take a cold shower.
Yeah, or cold plunge.
it will take you out of it because your brain just says, "Oh, we've got other things going on here.
Yes.
We have more important things to worry about.
We need to
more or
focus
less."
on this other thing that's happening right now.
Yep.
Yes. So
And it releases dopamine and some other things, and so it actually can have a pretty good effect afterwards. And so if you haven't tried it, you should try it.
yes, you should try it. I'm going to refrain. I hate cold water.
That's why it works.
That's why it works. It's true. It's true. Um, I'll maybe stick with some of the other grounding techniques. But yes, with that slow breathing, any type of noticing your breath, you can do a box breath, which is any repeated number, 3 in, 3 hold, 3 out, 3 hold, or 5, or whatever. Even just noticing your breath, watching where it goes, paying attention to where it goes in your body, seeing if you can expand where it goes, breathe down into your stomach, those types of things. I recently learned a new one that I absolutely love from my chiropractor. And it's a breath where you do kind of a shudder in breath, like you might if you were crying really hard, like little kids when they cry really hard. So it's like so you kind of gasp in or shudder breath in, and then you do a long sigh out audibly. Ah, like all the way out. And both or all of those different parts of that help to activate the vagus nervous system, which is that parasympathetic, right? So that the shudder breath activates that. The sigh activates it, having it be audible, that it's like humming. Humming also can activate your vagus nervous system. So it's just all of these different pieces put together. I actually started doing that because sometimes it's hard for me to fall asleep. I started doing that before or in bed as I'm getting ready to go to sleep. And it's really helpful. I can feel it activating my parasympathetic nervous system. So you can go ahead and try that if you have a hard time sleeping or just any time you need that grounding space.
And really, like a lot of the things that we're going to talk about, practice. Don't wait for the moment of you need the tool.
Yes.
Practice it so you know how to do it, and that will make it more effective. I mean, imagine when you're already worked up and you're saying, okay, I should try something.
Yes.
I should try something. I haven't tried anything, but I should try something. Do these, I would say, part of your healthy self-care dailies or routines.
Yes, absolutely.
Is do them every day. Mm-hmm. And so even if it's just contemplative prayer or the breathing or the mindfulness, do it every day so that your body learns that when I start to breathe this way, I know what to do with this. I know where to go.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if, just muscle memory, sometimes you do relax because you're breathing, because you do it every day and you practice. So
absolutely.
Pick one. Maybe try them all, but pick one that you like and then start to do it every day, anticipating you will have moments of escalation and anger and nervous system overwhelm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you can, if you don't practice it ahead of time, yes, first of all, you're not going to be as good at it, especially trying to do it in a heightened situation. Right. But also you could potentially even, and I've heard of this happening, trigger your body to only associate like meditation or something like that with distress, right? And you don't want it to be attached to distress. You want it to be attached to the grounding space.
Right.
And so making sure that you're practicing and doing those things, then it puts into, just like David's saying, that muscle memory. When you get into that place that's really hard, it just will automatically help bring you down from that. So getting back into your body is really, really helpful. Again, meditating is huge. We've talked about that before. When you get up to 20 minutes, it's really almost like a magic pill for basically everything they study it with. So it's
Yeah.
these things are so great to implement in your life. Just our general Western culture life does not give a lot of space for being in our bodies and being
Yeah.
present in that way. And so, I mean, really what they found is if you're making that a regular practice in your life, it improves literally everything. So great. You have a wonderful opportunity here to
Yeah.
incorporate something into your life that
Yep.
will benefit many, many aspects of it.
Right.
So any of those grounding techniques are really going to help everything in life.
They will. And try it to know for sure.
Yeah. And
Don't take our
even
word
just
for it.
general anxiety things, when people tend to have anxiety, I will often do literally a 1 minute, like we're just going to deep breathe for 1 minute. And it's a incredibly noticeable difference.
Yeah.
Like their entire affect changes. And I do that in session with them intentionally to show them how quickly they can feel really differently just by doing something that simple,
Yeah.
right? Because of course you can do it 5, 10, 20 minutes and have some fantastic benefits, but you can get extremely noticeable benefits in 1 minute.
Yeah.
And I often tell people, if you are looking for trying to figure out a way to incorporate that into your life, if you wear an Apple Watch, this is not a sponsorship or anything like that, but if you do wear an Apple Watch, there is a mindfulness app that's built into your Apple Watch, and you can click on it. It looks like a little blue swirly thing. You click on it and it will automatically pull up options for you to be present and mindful with your body. It will give you options for breathing, and it will give you options for being able to kind of log how you're feeling, just kind of connect with how you're feeling. So I just have people pop that up, click on that breath. You can change it so you can do it for 1 minute all the way up to 5 minutes, and it will just buzz on your wrist so that it will help you. It'll like buzz for an in breath and an out breath so that it kind of keeps you on track to keep you focused on your breathing. So a lot of people really like that option. So that's a really quick one. So that's number 5. First half of number 5, we need to talk about the structure aspect of that. So grounding is getting into your body and being really present with what's happening in your body and not spinning around in your mind, like what happens when we get triggered.
Right.
And the other aspect of those nervous system tools is the structure.
Structure, and we've talked so much about this too, dailies.
Yes.
So routines, journaling. One that I really like is time limits on rumination,
Yes.
which helps to set a time limit.
Yes. I'm allowed to think
Reconnecting.
about this, but
Uh-huh.
only for 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, and you'll find that when it's timed, you often want to get off of it because you're being asked to basically just think about this for however long, and it helps you to not want to do it. So it's kind of interesting, but set time limits on the rumination, reconnect with supports, and again, make this part of your routines where you anticipate you're going to need a lot of self-care.
Yes.
And so do it every day, no matter how good you feel,
Yes.
because we're saving for when it gets really hard again.
Right. Yeah.
And you know this, it's just going to show up and it will be overwhelming, and you'll have this to fall back on because you've been practicing.
Yeah. And I think that goes back to that first one of safety and stabilization, that stabilization basics of like sleep, food, movement. Those are also great things to just put into your routine that you get to check off. Like, yay, I did that one. I ate healthy food. I'm keeping myself on a sleep schedule and I'm not staying up late ruminating and having a really hard time or feeling like I need to ask a million questions.
Yep.
You're giving yourself this structure of basic things that are going to help support you and ground you with your nervous system.
Yeah.
So last one.
Last one, step 6. Relationship decisions.
Yes.
Slow is smart.
Yes.
So if you remember the steps to recovery, that's number one. Is to take your time, slow things down, don't feel urgency or pressure. Slow is smart.
Yes. Really want to avoid major decisions when you're in that space of shock of your sympathetic nervous system.
Yes.
You really want to slow down. There's a lot of information you're not going to have. When you're in those heightened spaces, you're not going to be making the best decisions.
Right.
Right? It's all going to be based on fear, on not knowing, on, just all of these heightened emotions. So slow that down. And I think sometimes people get in a space of like, oh my goodness, it's gone on for so long that I don't want it to keep going on. I want change. I want, all of these things. And real change does take time.
Yeah.
And any waiting that you do is going to actually be beneficial in the long run, because you will know for sure that you did everything that you could in the situation so even if, for example, it doesn't work out and you're like, why didn't I do this? I hear this a lot. Why didn't I do this like at the beginning or whatever? Or people at the beginning are like, I just need to get out of this really fast. And waiting doesn't hurt you.
Right.
Unless there's massive amounts of abuse that are happening.
Yeah.
But waiting gives you the ability to help heal yourself, to be able to take in all of the information and make the healthiest decisions for you. It gives you the ability to see long term, and I don't mean like 10 years, but like a longer term space of seeing whether your partner can move through and heal and is willing to do that work. And I have seen people on the back end when they make really quick decisions and they get really triggered and they act from that triggered space, that they regret the decisions that they made later, whether that was ending the relationship or whether that was just different things that they said or did throughout that process.
Yep.
So slowing down gives you more information. It helps you be in yourself and in a wiser space to know what you need to do, what you need for healing and all of that. And any healing that you're doing through that process is going to benefit you no matter what happens with the relationship.
That's the whole point, is you also are becoming something more through all of this.
Mm-hmm.
And whether or not they started it or you didn't want it is irrelevant.
Right.
This can be an opportunity for you to learn and grow if you choose in, if you accept and say, okay, how am I going to be better as a result? You're the X factor. That stuff was out of your control. The result is you're bitter or you're better, and you determine which one that is.
Right.
So part of this slow is smart idea is also to track patterns, which is really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Sustained sobriety, honesty, empathy, recovery actions over time. Often when something goes not well, you say, well, this whole process isn't working. I don't know if anything is improving. But if you're tracking patterns over time, you'll probably find that you're doing better. Things are trending. It's just hard to see in those moments. And so it can be helpful to track those patterns. And, just writing it down, journaling, that kind of thing, it gives you purpose in all of this. And that can also help you to get through it and to take your time and be more intentional and not rushed or be in a hurry.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So those are the 6 steps for partner stabilization. Let's talk as well about some reasonable early recovery expectations. So one of those is not that they're never ever going to act out in any way, shape, or form ever again.
Which is a common one.
Yes, that's common expectation.
You may never, like that's how it works, but you may
Yeah.
never do this again. There are some exceptions.
Yes.
Like what?
Like if they're acting out with other people, that
Okay.
one
That's gotta
does
stop.
have to stop right away. And then the process of working through like masturbation and pornography issues, that often takes a little bit more time. There's a lot more of these little triggers and different pieces. You really have to be able to kind of get down to the underneath root of all of that. So if they're acting out with other people, yes, that does need to stop now, and that needs to be backed up and removed. But the rest of all of that process can take some time as you're figuring out, yourself. If you think about any other patterns that you may not love about yourself and you want to correct, a lot of times those patterns take a lot of time figuring out, oh, I guess I get triggered or I really want this thing when this situation occurs. And so I have to figure out how to do life differently in that situation as opposed to this one. It's really easy for me to not fall back into that pattern. So it does take a lot of work to kind of figure those things out. And so to expect someone to just automatically never do any of that, again, is not reasonable.
Right.
But some of the things that are very reasonable to be asking is to have a clear plan for disclosure, I think is a really big one.
Right.
And what some of those repair steps are going to look like. So being committed to disclosure and that they're committed to active recovery.
Yes.
So meetings, sponsor, therapy, check-ins, right? Those things are all really important, and it is okay to expect that.
Yes.
And if you have a partner that isn't willing to do those things or does not feel like those things are necessary at some level, then that's going to be a little bit of a red flag.
Yep.
So those two things are huge. Respecting your boundaries. So not coercing you, not blame shifting, not putting a lot of pressure on you.
Including to move on or forgive.
Yes.
Those are the biggies, is to kind of like, okay, well, now let's just drop it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not recovery at all. Mm-hmm. And you know that.
Yes.
And so red flags everywhere around this stuff, but you can expect that they respect those boundaries.
Yes, as they're in early recovery, that you can expect that pretty early on. And the last one, also super important, is not lying or minimizing and continuing to have very consistent transparency.
Yep. Yep. And a good attitude around it too. Not that they're loving talking about it or going through the
Like
details.
my favorite
That's
thing.
hard.
Yeah, it's not fun.
But there's a willingness there.
Yes.
And that's what you're looking for. And you can expect it. Uh-huh.
That this is part of the process and it's important, even if it's not fun.
Yep.
So those are the things that you can look for. And I think a lot of times when we explain those things to people, to betrayed partners, it feels a little bit safer.
Yeah.
Then, oh, well, I have to, this is the only thing. And you say, well, that's not really reasonable that they will never, ever do anything again, as they're trying to figure out how to do something completely different in their life. And sometimes partners feel really distressed around that. Like, oh no, like that's not okay.
Yeah.
But when we really explain all of these things, I think it's reassuring. Like, that there are some really solid things that you can expect, and that those things are actually going to give you quite a bit of safety as someone's working through trying to figure out how to do their life differently.
Yep. And we don't want you to be more frustrated in an already really frustrating situation by having unmet expectations
Right.
that are mostly driven by your pain and your protector part saying, this has got to happen and it's got to happen now. I get that. Definitely, and I would feel the same way. We just know from experience that processes make a big difference, maybe all the difference.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
hopefully these episodes were helpful. This basically is the roadmap from the CSAT model for recovery and can really help you out if you're in this position.
Thanks for joining us.
See you next time.
Thank you for listening to Two Therapists Talking. We look forward to sharing more conversations with you. Connect with us at twotherapisttalking.com or email podcast@twotherapisttalking.com. If you like what you're hearing, please get on and rate us and subscribe to the podcast.